All right, y'all, so how about your drawing? You hopefully have all of your shapes of all of the patterns in here. And then today, the main thing we're working on is color. So I recommend colored pencils for this. If you have crayons and that's all you have, crayons are fine. I'm going to be using the twistable colored pencils to do this part. The reason I recommend colored pencils is because you're going to need to get in some really small spaces. And that's going to help you the most with it, just because you can kind of sharpen them to a point, and it just helps with detail. Do not use markers on this, because we are going to be creating a gradient where we have to make the color fade from light to dark, or from dark to light. So you cannot do that with marker, because when we use a marker, it just shows up the same the whole way. It's always just going to be that dark color. You can't put more pressure or less pressure to make it lighter and darker. So once you have out what you're coloring with today, we're going to start coloring these in. So I'm going to zoom in as close as I can to really let you guys see the detail here. So color-wise, it is up to you, whatever colors you want to choose for this. The first part we're going to color in is going to be what I'm going to refer to on this one as the stem of our shape. So kind of this triangle or cone type shape that's coming out from our vanishing point to our shape here, or coming from our shape to our vanishing point. So what we want this to do, to give it more of a three-dimensional look, we are going to have our colors fade from dark to light, which is creating a tint and a shade. A tint and a shade is just when you have one color, which is the true hue, and then you lessen it by making it lighter or deepen it by making it darker. Being able to do this is going to help us create more of a three-dimensional look coming out from the center of our picture. All right, guys, so starting with each shape, what we're going to do is we want the darkest color to be right next to the shape, and we want it to get lighter and lighter and lighter as it kind of fades away and disappears into the distance in that vanishing point. So you can choose whatever colors you want. I just would recommend not doing the same color for all of them. I would switch it up. Now I could do one in this color and then repeat that same color maybe over here, but I would do as many different colors really as you can come up with that work well on here. So I'm going to start in here. I am going to, on my tool, I'm pushing as hard as this is because I want this color to be as dark as I can make it here. So I am putting as much pressure onto this as I can. I'm making it as dark, and you can kind of see I'm coloring back and forth like I'm going towards the center. The more you can do that, the better it's going to look. The other thing I want you to notice is because the edge of the shape here is curved, I am coloring this also kind of in a curve type shape. Then after coloring kind of a little section of it where it's as dark as I can get it to go, I'm going to move down and I'm going to overlap, and I'm just going to lessen the pressure some. So I'm not coloring it quite as hard right here. What I don't want to see though is kind of this stripe that comes right across there. So I want to kind of blend that away. And the way I'm going to do that is just by lightly kind of coloring and overlapping back and forth here until I start to see that stripe kind of disappear. And then I'm going to keep working my way down this where I'm just putting less and less and less pressure the further down, where by the time it gets to the center, it's almost faded to a white, where there's hardly any color left at all. And that's going to help give me that three-dimensional look. The other thing, once I kind of do that, then I'm also going to go in and I can color in the shape here. One thing I would recommend is whatever you want to color in your pattern, I would include the color that you colored kind of the stem here inside the pattern as well. It doesn't have to be the only color, but I would include it in there so it doesn't look kind of so strange like this random color just got thrown on there for some reason. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to keep repeating this, guys, over and over until I have finished my project. And that's, or really my lines for today. So finishing up my shapes today. If you don't have time to fully finish it before you have to move on to your next class, Next week, we'll have a little bit of time where you can finish up final details, but we are also moving on to something else next week. So kind of go through, really pay attention to that. So hopefully you have plenty of time to finish up what you need to. And guys, it is okay if you leave like white, if you want white as part of your color, so especially like on this one here where I have the clouds, I'm gonna leave the clouds white. So it is okay to leave white as part of it, but you should have a lot colored in on each of those things. So I'm just gonna kind of keep going through. If I think of any other tips, I will kind of slow down the video, but I am gonna have it kind of speed up, go through so you guys can see the final product. All right, here we go. So guys, here on this one that's kind of two-sided because it's a square, I need to color the dark kind of on that side, and then I would also color the dark all the way across this side here as well. So it's going on both sides. Where these two so far, it's only had kind of one solid section. This one, because it is two-sided going from there, I need to make sure I'm doing both, but I'm still kind of keeping that corner or that angle on it. And just like this, because this one runs into this other shape here, it's just kind of going to fade from the darkest dark to slightly lighter, kind of to my medium. It's not going to go all the way to white because it doesn't reach all the way to the center. Only when it actually touches the vanishing point should it fade to that like super, super light, almost white color. Should still fade, but it may not fade quite as much. All right, guys, so y'all keep working on this. If you get it all done, that's awesome. If you've got a few pieces left, like I said, next week we will be finishing this and then also moving on doing an early finisher. If you did finish this, there'll be a second activity for you to do. So do your best, get as much done as you can today, because next time is the very last time you will have any last time to work on this.